January 5th, 1986, Soldier Field, divisional playoff. The temperature? A bone-chilling 17 degrees. But inside that frozen cathedral, something legendary was happening. A group of warriors who didn't just win games, they obliterated them. They dominated the NFL like no team before or since. They were unstoppable. Today, we're diving deep into the most heartbreaking what-if in NFL history, the 1985 Chicago Bears. We're about to reveal secrets that even die-hard Bears fans don't know. Picture this, it's 1982. The NFL is dominated by two dynasties, the San Francisco 49ers and the Oakland Raiders. Championships are flowing to the West Coast like water. But in the Windy City, nothing but heartbreak. The Chicago Bears hadn't won a championship since 1963. Nearly 2 decades of mediocrity. Enter Mike Ditka, January 20th, 1982. The Bears make him their new head coach, and this man brought something Chicago had never seen before. Fire, passion, and a promise that would change everything. We're not just going to win. We're going to dominate. But Ditka knew he couldn't do it alone. He needed a defensive mastermind, someone who could turn the Bears into a weapon of mass destruction. Buddy Ryan, the man who would create the most feared defense in NFL history. But here's what nobody talks about. Wait until you hear what Ryan and Ditka really thought about each other.
Which one do you think that is? Quarterback all the way. Yes.
It's absolutely insane, and it's coming up. But first, let me show you how they built this monster. The pieces were already there. Walter Payton, the heart and soul. Mike Singletary, the emotional leader. Richard Dent, the pass rush specialist. But Ryan had a vision, something the NFL had never seen. A defense so aggressive, so relentless, that it would literally change the rules of football forever. He called it the 46 defense. Now listen carefully, because this is where things get crazy. The 46 defense wasn't just innovative, it was borderline illegal by today's standards. Picture 8 men in the box, 8 linebackers practically breathing down the quarterback's neck before the snap. It was psychological warfare. Buddy Ryan didn't just want to stop offenses, he wanted to terrorize them, to make quarterbacks wake up in cold sweats thinking about Chicago. In 1985, the Bears defense gave up just 12.4 points per game. To put that in perspective, that's like holding every team to field goals only, every single game. But the real secret weapon, team chemistry that was absolutely electric. Mike Singletary would give speeches that made grown men cry. Richard Dent would predict exactly which play he'd sack the quarterback. And Dan Hampton? This man played with a torn ACL for half the season and still dominated. That's not human. That's legendary. 1985 wasn't just about football. It was about capturing America's heart in a way that'll never happen again. September 8th, 1985, season opener against Tampa Bay. Final score, Bears 38, Bucks 28. A good start, but nothing crazy, right? Wrong. What happened next was the most dominant stretch in NFL history. Week 2, Bears 20, Patriots 7. Week 3, Bears 33, Vikings 24th, 4th week. Bears 45, Redskins 10. But then, Week 6 happened. And this is where legends were born. Monday Night Football, Bears at San Francisco, the defending champion 49ers with Joe Montana. This was supposed to be Chicago's reality check. Final score, Bears 26, 49ers 10. They didn't just beat the champions, they embarrassed them on national television. And here's something that'll make your jaw drop. After that game, Vegas odds makers did something they'd never done before. They made the Bears favorites to win every remaining game. Not just favorites, heavy favorites. By week 12, the Bears were 11 and 0. 11 and 0. But they weren't just winning, they were making it look easy. Walter Payton was running through defenses like they were made of paper. This man averaged over 4.5 yards per carry, while defenders were literally trying to decapitate him. Jim McMahon was the ultimate rebel quarterback. Headbands, sunglasses, and throws that defied physics. And then there was William the Refrigerator Perry, a 308-pound defensive tackle, scoring touchdowns. America had never seen anything like it. But what happened next changed everything, not just for the Bears, but for the entire NFL. And it involved a rap song that broke the internet, before the internet even existed. December 3rd, 1985. The Bears are 12-0, And they do something that would be unthinkable today. They record a rap song called the Super Bowl Shuffle, 3 weeks before the playoffs even started. The audacity was insane. But here's what made it legendary. This wasn't just confidence. This was prophecy. They knew they were going to win the Super Bowl. The song reached number 41 on the Billboard Hot 100. Let that sink in. A football team had a top 40 hit. When's the last time that happened? The Bears weren't just a football team anymore. They were rock stars, action figures, lunchboxes, video games. They were everywhere. Jim McMahon was on every talk show. The fridge was in commercials. Even Walter Payton, the humble superstar, became a household name. Then came the playoffs. And what they did was absolutely ruthless. Divisional round, Bears 21, Giants 0, a shutout. Championship game, Bears 24, Rams 0. Another shutout. 2 playoff shutouts. The NFL had never seen anything like it. The Bears weren't just going to the Super Bowl, they were going as the most feared team in league history. But what happened in Super Bowl 20? It was so one-sided, so brutal, that it traumatized an entire generation of Patriots fans. And there's one moment that still haunts Walter Payton to this day. January 26, 1986. The Louisiana Superdome, Bears versus Patriots. But this wasn't just a game, this was an execution. The Patriots had no idea what was about to hit them. The Bears' defense was like a pack of wolves who hadn't eaten in weeks. First quarter, Bears 13, Patriots 3. Second quarter, Bears 23, Patriots 3. This wasn't a football game. This was target practice. Here's a stat that'll blow your mind. The Patriots gained just 123 total yards. That's not a typo. 123 yards in a Super Bowl. Richard Dent was unstoppable. Mike Singletary was everywhere. The Patriots couldn't even get past midfield without the Bears' defense in their face. And then came the ultimate insult. William Perry, the 308-pound defensive tackle, scoring a touchdown. The crowd went insane. Final score, Bears 46, Patriots 10. The most lopsided Super Bowl victory in history at that point. Walter Payton, the heart and soul of the team, never scored a touchdown in that Super Bowl. The man who carried this franchise for over a decade, who deserved that moment more than anyone. And he watched from the sideline as others got the glory. But in that moment, with confetti falling and the Lombardi Trophy in their hands, the Bears looked unstoppable. This felt like the beginning of a dynasty. It wasn't. It was the end. How do you destroy the greatest defense in NFL history? How do you waste that much talent? It started with one devastating blow. Buddy Ryan, the mastermind behind the 46 defense, leaves Chicago to become head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles. The man who created the most feared defense in NFL history, gone. Just like that. But here's what nobody knew. Ryan and Ditka hated each other. They barely spoke during the 1985 season. The tension was so bad that players had to choose sides. Ryan thought Ditka was a hothead who didn't understand defense. Ditka thought Ryan was arrogant and undermined his authority. The Dream Team was actually a nightmare behind the scenes. Then came the second blow, Jim McMahon's shoulder injury in 1986. The rebel quarterback who made magic happen, reduced to a shell of himself. Without McMahon's leadership and Ryan's defensive genius, the Bears were still good, but they weren't legendary anymore. Here's how quickly things fell apart. In 1985, the Bears allowed 12.4 points per game. By 1987, they were allowing 19.1 points per game. That's nearly 7 more points per game. 1986 playoffs, lost to the Redskins. 1987, missed the playoffs entirely. 1988, one and done in the playoffs. The window was closing fast. Walter Payton was getting older. The defense was aging. And instead of building on their success, the Bears made terrible personnel decisions, bad draft picks, poor free agent signings. They acted like their 1985 magic would last forever. But the most heartbreaking part? The what-ifs. What if Ryan had stayed? What if McMahon stayed healthy? What if the egos hadn't destroyed everything? Today, nearly 40 years later, the 1985 Chicago Bears are still considered the greatest single-season team in NFL history. 9 Hall of Famers, the most dominant defense ever. A cultural phenomenon that transcended sports. Walter Payton became a legend. His rushing record stood for decades. His character inspired millions. But the Chicago Bears, they've won exactly 0 Super Bowls since 1985. 0. Think about this. The New England Patriots, the team they destroyed 46-10 in Super Bowl 20, went on to win 6 more Super Bowls. 6. The Bears had everything the Patriots later built their dynasty on. Great defense, smart coaching, incredible team chemistry. The only difference? The Patriots kept their core together. The Bears let theirs fall apart. Imagine if Buddy Ryan had stayed. Imagine if McMahon stayed healthy. Imagine if Ditka and Ryan had worked together instead of against each other. The Bears could have won 3, 4, maybe even 5 Super Bowls. They had that much talent. Instead, Chicago fans are still living in 1985. Still wearing Walter Payton jerseys. Still watching Super Bowl 20 highlights. Walter Payton said it best in his retirement speech. "We had something special in '85. I just wish we could have shared it with more championship teams." The New England Patriots took their 46-10 humiliation and built 6 championships. 6 rings. From the ashes of their worst defeat, they created the greatest dynasty in NFL history. The Chicago Bears took their perfect season and turned it into 38 years of heartbreak. Walter Payton deserved to see his Bears win again. He never did. The greatest player in franchise history got exactly 1 ring and didn't even score in that Super Bowl. They went from the Super Bowl shuffle to the Super Bowl shuffle, from champions to chumps. The 1985 Chicago Bears didn't just waste their potential, they wasted perfection itself. The greatest team that wasted its potential and broke a city's heart forever. If this story gave you chills, smash that subscribe button right now. We're diving deep into the NFL's greatest what-ifs every single week. Drop a comment below. What team do you think wasted the most potential? The 2007 Patriots, who went 18-1, the early 2000s Chargers? Let me know. And if you want more heartbreaking NFL stories, check out our video on the greatest quarterback who wasted his career. Trust me, it'll make you question everything you know about football. Until next time, keep watching, keep learning, and remember, in the NFL, greatness isn't just about talent, it's about what you do with it.